everyone, Michaela here, and I am back with another review for a Best Picture winner. I'm so excited to watch all, or as many as I can, of the Best Picture winners in history, and thank you so much for joining me. This week was a bit interesting because I was planning on watching Moonlight, you know, the film that will unfortunately always be associated with La La Land instead of standing on its own like any other movie. However, I put too much pressure on myself, and you know when your brain does that thing where a small task seems absolutely unattainable? Yeah, it did that. So instead, as a change of pace and mood, I chose Chicago, the 2003 Best Picture Academy Award winner. Chicago was the first musical to win the honour since Oliver! In 1968 and is such an incredible amount of fun. First of all, for those who don't know, Chicago tells the story of two murderesses, which, side note, there's something so cool to me about that word, who try to escape jail and the death penalty. They both employ Billy Flynn because he's never lost a case. The film explores celebrity, scandal and corruption, as well as a surprisingly relevant look at the role of the media. The editing is so pleasing to watch, there are match cuts galore. The real life action and the musical numbers meld together so well. So along with Best Picture and 4 other wins, it also won the Oscar for Best Film Editing, which makes so much sense to me. It's an example of why I think Baby Driver should have won for Best Editing, Sound Design, Sound Editing, what have you, in 2018. Okay, acting. The whole ensemble cast works so well together, including the extras and the side characters. I've seen all the leads in other things, but I was so sucked into their performances that it didn't matter in the slightest. On that note, the costumes were really helpful in the believability of each actor's role, and were just in general beautiful. And the differences between the real character and the performing character were highlighted and worked really well with the costumes. For an example, look at matron Mama Morton and her entrance to the movie. Well done, Queen Latifah. Back to the acting. Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones worked so well together in this movie. It's no surprise to me that they were nominated for Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress respectively, with Zeta-Jones winning in her category. They both portray strong women who are able to and effectively play the weak damsels so incredibly well. I was also very surprised that Richard Gere wasn't nominated for his role at the Oscars, especially seeing as he won the Golden Globe. He was such a standout for me in the same way that Kang Ho's song was in Parasite. He almost stole the movie. I mean, that tap dance. Round of applause. Ow. Speaking of the musical numbers, I wanted to get up and dance so many times throughout this film, and I actually did do a little something when I left my room after. In the best possible way, it was so clear that this was originally a stage show. There's such phenomenal integration of the elements that make up a stage show. For example, when Amos sings Mr. Cellophane, and he's seen singing and dancing on a stage even though his character is not one with those ambitions. It was a very smart way of showing what the audience would most likely see in a theatre. Like, I haven't seen the stage show, but I'm guessing Amos gets this moment where everything else goes dark and he's just singing of his plight to the crowd. I've already sensed a sort of theme with the Best Picture films I've watched already, and that is precise and near perfect editing. Maybe it's just because it's the element I notice the most, as I mentioned in my Parasite review, but it seems the Academy chooses films that tell their story in a concise way and make the audience feel like every moment is used wisely. I'm really interested to see if this is kept up through all 92 films. Only time will tell. As for Chicago, I have to say it's a truly fun experience that makes you want to get up, dance and all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're interested in Best Picture winners, what sets them apart, or maybe just films in general, consider subscribing. Keep an eye on my Facebook and Instagram pages linked below, because the next review will be up within the fortnight. I have 78 Best Picture winners to choose from.